Hello everyone. This is our just a quick recap of how we actually went 3 for 3 this week. So this is being recorded on Wednesday morning, but we're talking about this trade that was took through PM session on Monday through NY, and then the two trades we ended up catching through yesterday. So one was one that we ended up holding for a couple of hours. It was quite an emotional swing actually. And then the second one was just before PM, which was pretty much textbook, but was just a small kind of blip play, sorry. But we managed to get in and out quite nicely with a pretty textbook model. Right, so this is just the 15 minutes. If I look on the 5 minute, what did we see on Monday? Right, so on Monday we could essentially see that through London and essentially then like rolling in towards NY, we ended up nuking all the way through London, mitigating the whole of Asia's leg. New York opened. We ended up mitigating a lot of this LRO here, but ended up sweeping this low, which was pretty much the NY open low, double bottoming and then reversing. But however, obviously after sweeping such a prominent low, which was New York's low, after mitigating that a lot of this LRO here from London and pre-market, we wanted to see a continuation to London's high, which obviously price didn't get. So we thought, well, okay, price is clearly struggling somewhere. We were drawing right into this 5 minute PD array, which is a bearish fair value gap. Ended up double topping just at the top of it and ended up displacing right out of it. So if we take a look on the 2 minute, I believe it was. Yep. So if we go on the 2 minute, fine, we can. Oh, I forgot to say. Sorry, 1 second. Uh, yep. Right, we can see we got this inverse of this fair value gap here that actually created the sweep. Fine, we got the break of structure here, and then obviously what were we targeting? Originally we wanted to target New York low again, but again that had originally been swept, which obviously would have been a great clean draw. But on the 1 minute and stuff, we started to get some like really like choppy price action, where price kind of struggled to break through key levels because of all like the low time frame PD arrays from this like build up. So we ended up TPing at the bottom of this PD array here, which I believe was a 5 minute gap or a 15 minute. What was that gap? Was it a 3 minute? Yeah, cool. So it was the bottom of this 3 minute gap here. We ended up taking partials here and going break even here. And overall, just an alright trade. It was a 1 to 3.3 risk reward, 130 point move. Not too bad. We didn't take this. This was just more or less just backtesting a model. So what did we see yesterday? Right. So yesterday was great. Well, I say great, but basically this writing was essentially the preface for the trade. Bearish delivery through Asia, then we mitigated back into discount through London, tagging the 15 minute PD array. Price delivered from the bearish fair value gap after a liquidity sweep, with failure to displace above it. 3 minute version, breaker structure to the downside, targets as Asia's low. So putting that quite simply, this is the day. This was the daily open here. We ended up mitigating higher, taking out the first of Asia's high. Ended up making the real Asia high, and displacing like significantly lower. Attempting to get a dead cat, didn't really mitigate into discount of this leg, and ended up making Asia's low more or less just before London opened. London opened, and we ended up trading finally back into discount of the current daily range, which was from Asia's high to Asia's low. And we ended up filling the 15 minute PD array, which is 15 minute bearish fair value gap. We failed to displace above it, got a liquidity sweep, broke down, inverted this fair value gap, and broke structure, knowing that now we failed to displace, blah, blah, blah. Ended up ticking all the boxes. Targets as Asia's low. However, more or less, market kind of chopped on this like latter half of London, waiting for New York to open, and this was quite an emotional swing of a trade because, well, we nearly got TP and then price ended up going all the way back up. And then just as New York opened, we manipulated higher. I think we were only like a couple of points away from our stop loss, which was, yeah, about 5 or 6 points away from our stop loss, before market then just slammed straight through our TP, which was quite lucky actually. And then what did we get? So we saw that price ended up manipulating lower and lower and lower. But so there was this low here, which actually created a liquidity sweep of this low, which ended up obviously being the reason for this whole leg higher here. But anyway, so that had been swept. Price actually visited this price leg first and attempted to obviously bait traders in, because price ended up reacting higher first. If I can, yeah, see, so this was the tag of that level that first got swept. Price ended up manipulating higher, but then price drew all the way back down to tag that level that actually was the sweep. And then what did we get? So we saw a liquidity sweep. If we go on to the 2-minute. So this is essentially what we really like to look for. Liquidity sweep of a key level, inverse fair value gap, and then more or less, I think there was there a 1-minute breaker structure? If I can, oh, for God's sake, if I can remember. Right, so the 1-minute breaker structure actually, yes, did come off of the inversion candle, which was all right. And then what we should have actually done is targeted these highs, but for us, we ended up sizing a little bit bigger than we normally do. So the fact that price rallied straight to TP and we ended up catching it, it was just shy of 90 points. The move was actually all right for us, and we got a nice 1 to 7, which was yeah, pretty decent without having to hold any drawdown. So that's how we're currently 3 for 3 on the week. So yeah, if you have any questions, drop any questions below. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video and hope to see you in the next one.